waiting for. Please welcome the Pelbros Podcast.
What up, players? What up, players in the his house? What up, gangsters? We're here with a very, very special, I guess it's technically a live recording because right now it is, but it's not going to be uploaded live. But, you know, fuck you. It's a live recording for me, right? Of a very special episode, live recording, you know, Christmas special type episode of the Pelbros Podcast, the best fucking New Orleans Pelicans podcast there is. If there anyone else want to dispute me, fucking come at me and fight me. I'll fucking try. I swear.
He's a boxer.
I'm gonna take you, all right? Don't fucking test me. This is the number one fucking podcast. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
As I was saying, as you could hear that voice, that's not necessarily a familiar voice, right? This is obviously your host, Ryan DW, but our co-host, James, is not here, but he has given us his blessing. So don't think I'm trying to, sabotage the Pelbros or, trying to, get majority share and fucking do something corporate.
We love you, James.
Yeah. So I'm here with my guest, my main boy, one of my main boys, I guess, called Tomiqi. How are we gonna say that?
It's Tomiqi, but you can call me anytime.
The pass by my fucking thing.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Anyways, this guy's called Tomiqi. Yeah, I've known this guy for a while, I guess. What's it called? He knows a lot more about basketball than I do, so I was like, yo, what better way to get as our first guest? That's okay. If you guys don't realize, this is our fucking first proper fucking guest. So,
oh my goodness,
a round of applause for Mr. Tomiqi. How do you feel, mate? The Pelbros have lost their virginity with the guest situation with your ass.
I'm so privileged to be the first guest, so I'm kind of nervous because I know that this podcast this show carries a lot of esteem with it.
Yeah, it's quite held in high regards and high esteem in some very high society community clubs, country clubs.
Yeah, country clubs, islands, etc.
Yeah.
But among Pelicans fans, I know that you guys have extremely high testosterone, very masculine, physically strong fan base. So I don't want to piss you guys off. So I'm going to try and do my best.
Well, I can't say too much about the listeners tuning in, but definitely us, me and James, yes, or most for me, but
yeah.
But no. Also, you guys too. Don't worry. We haven't forgot about you, freaking guys. But yeah, before we get stuck into the meat and potatoes, make sure you guys are, following us on our shit. Obviously, Pelbros on YouTube, pelbrospodcast at gmail.com. If you want to fucking, shoot us some fucking nudes, hit us up at Pelbros on Instagram too. And yeah, you can listen to us on Spotify and all that kind of shit. Just, and tell your fucking friends about us, dude, because, we some broke motherfuckers trying to make it in the streets here. We ain't just giving out these fucking, spitting this fucking fire for fucking free here. You know what I mean?
Coming up from the mud, bro.
Yeah, bro. You guys might be able to hear it. You'll hear, because, we're actually out here on this actual street recording live, right? You might hear fucking choppers go by. There was a chopper before, right?
There was, yeah. Hey, officer.
Yo, all right, come on. Yo, don't scare me like that. Anyways, so yeah, let's start to kind of get into here. Obviously we've got a new guest here, Mr. Tommy. So I'll give a little, quick bio of how it came to the point that you're actually on this podcast, right?
Sure thing.
So obviously you guys must be aware, if you guys are true Pelbros fans, that I've actually been on a re-education camp for the past couple of months, and I can't really say that I was re-educated that much. Just that obviously Israel is the greatest and whatnot. But apart from that, Tommy, this is actually where I've met Tommy. And the thing is that I had already known him before. This is like a childhood mate of mine. But somehow circumstances led to both of us being in this re-education camp. So Tommy, if as much as you'd like to, reveal, please do tell us about your kind of story leading to that point and, how we are where we are today, whilst I have a quick cigarette.
Sure thing. Yeah, so I was at a rehabilitation camp, re-education camp, whatever you want to call it. One of those camps that helps you kind of concentrate on your mental stability and your political and social correctness and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And we were there for our separate reasons, I'm pretty sure. But, my list had some certain things on it, possibly some anti-Semitism,
hey,
racism.
But we ain't about that no more.
No. We're clean. We're good boys. Political correctness, social correct. We check all the boxes. I even got my tattoo removed with sandpaper. But anyway,
I seen that shit.
Yeah, it hurt. I was at the camp. I was sweeping the floor, and I saw just this big 6'2" 98 kilo, just pure muscle frame, and I'm like, that doesn't look too familiar. And he walks up to me and it's...
Don't even pretend, bro. You're trying to like grab your wallet.
My heart started beating really fast. I'm like, hey, how do you get past security? And he walks up to me and it's Ryan DW, and I'm like, oh my goodness.
Same Ryan motherfucking DW from primary, from elementary.
Ryan motherfrickin' DW, motherfudging DW.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, long time no see.
Yeah.
And he's still got the same adorable baby face.
Oh my god.
But with some scruff to it, some manliness to it, and I'm like, hey, what are you doing?
No, if we can anything, we can say the same thing to you, to be honest.
Oh, I appreciate that. Obrigado. And I'm like, what are you doing here? And he's like, probably for the same reason you're here, bro. Anyways, long time no see. And we chop it up and find out we're both pretty much diehard fans of basketball.
Hey, well, there you go. Would you like to tell the... Oh, no, we'll leave that for later.
Sure, no, however you want to structure it. But I mean, to make a long story short,
go
we go through the camp, we go through our rehabilitation process.
There were some honeys there, I'll say that.
There were some honeys there.
There were some honeys there, what better way to re-educate a man than, provide him with some kind of, how do I say it? Fruition? I don't fucking know.
Fruition?
just some some hot bitches, as I say that.
Yeah, some forbidden fruits.
There you go.
To get the loins fired.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. That's why I bring him on.
But yeah, so we chopped it up. We find out we're both diehard fans of basketball. So as homies, we get through the camp together. We find out about how amazing Israel is.
But we'll find out, mate. They're listening. Just say it's been like that forever.
Oh yeah, no, I came out the womb praising Israel.
Yeah, bro. Even before that and shit.
Yeah. Occupied Palestine, Holy Land, all that stuff.
Disney and Marvel is great.
Yeah. Shout out to CNN.
Okay.
But yeah, so we're both big fans of basketball. He tells me about the show that he has. He tells me about, he educates me on the Pelbros.
I'm a bit of a big fucking deal around here.
Yeah, people know him. Several leather-bound books all about the Pelicans.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, cool. He's like, what are you? I'm like, he's like, what are you a fan of? And it takes me a couple seconds to admit it for obvious reasons. But, I'm a Los Angeles Clippers fan.
And this guy isn't no fucking bandwagon. He's been around since even before CP3 or during.
I was around since basically Baron Davis.
See, that's what I'm trying to say. And what was Baron Davis in your team before he was? He was from Detroit or what? Because I know he was on our team too.
Yeah, no. Was he on your team in like 2000?
But Hornets.
2008. Yeah. Before they became the Pelicans, obviously.
Yeah.
But was he around your team? He was on your team around 2008 because 2008, 2009, they basically brought him on maybe the year or the year before Blake Griffin was drafted and then was out with his injury that cost him his rookie season.
Okay.
And then he and Blake pretty much had like 1 year together.
Okay, so then I would probably say he was probably with us beforehand, and then I think maybe we found that. But
so he
don't quote me on that.
Okay, so yeah. But if that's the truth, then your team was his stop between the We Believe Warriors and the Clippers.
Okay.
And I know that there was a stint on the New York Knicks where he mangled his knee completely.
Yeah.
But, so, I mean, I've been a Clippers fan for, that'll make it about 12 years now. Pre-Lob City days.
That's a lot older than a lot of you motherfuckers out there listening in.
Yeah, but, I don't want to judge. Yeah. When you get into basketball, it might not be a franchise that puts you on. It'll be a specific lineup of people or maybe one or two players.
Yeah, that's true. That's me.
I was a big fan of Baron Davis. And then, because when he yanked it on Andre Kirilenko that one time, I was like, damn, I like this guy. And he lifted up his shirt, and I was like, oh, I like this guy. But sorry. But yeah, and I did my research on the Clippers before that, and I liked the Knuckleheads, Darius Miles, Corey Maggette, those guys. So I just kind of stuck with the team, and then the Lob City days came and went, Doc Rivers, Kawhi Leonard, and all that stuff, and now here we are. But there's
the tragic last season you just had to.
The tragic last season, the 3-1 lead, one of two 3-1 leads that Doc Rivers has blown.
And you've had to witness as a fan.
Yeah, and I don't want to put it on one specific person, but I don't know what I did to deserve that. Oh wait, yeah, I do. But yeah, it's there's some hardships being a fan of a team like the Clippers, just as there's some hardships being a fan of a team like the Pelicans. And if you're a diehard fan of certain players, right, like Drew Holiday,
yeah, boy.
Things I hate to bring that up, but you know, there's pain in being an NBA fan, and we share some of that pain.
It's true, and that's the thing. Like, you know, I'm not gonna be bringing out no fucking sellout Los Angeles Lakers fan onto this podcast, yo. Like, especially not for the first guest. Get the fuck out of here.
That is absolutely haram.
Yeah, and I've always been cool with you know, Tomiqi, but more on top of that, I've been more cool with the Clippers. It's always been neutral territory. But what has been the most recent development, which we'll get more into, I guess, a bit later.
Yeah.
Is obviously, you know, your recent acquisition of Mr. Rondo and Boogie. And if you guys have been following, if anything, like this guy was hinting at before, pretty much I became, like, you know, full, you know, hard dick, you know, boner for fucking Pelicans over the entire fucking Rondo Boogie kind of phase. Sure, there's AD there, but Rondo and Boogie was the fucking combo. So I love to see that. And that's why I was like, yo, I need to bring this motherfucker on so we can discuss that more in detail later on this episode. So keep listening in, motherfuckers. But before we go any further, because, you know, I'll start, you know, bring you in a bit more formally. I want to ask you, do you have any quick shout outs you want to give out to, you know, potentially anyone listening in or whoever the fuck, up to you, even a player?
Yeah, well, shout out to my non-biological dad, Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah.
Most handsome man on the West Coast.
Yeah.
The second most handsome man on the West Coast, Paul George.
Yeah, right, I see that.
Shout out to the Goon Squad on the LA Clippers, Marcus Morris, Rajon Rondo, Boogie Cousins.
The boys.
Serge Ibaka.
Yeah, the boys.
BBC. Shout out to my former Ket plug, Big Uso. Shout out to my mom. She's alright.
Alright, cool.
She goes alright. Shout out to my Tinder waifu.
Yo, hey, my man. I actually just got a fucking, like, message tonight randomly. I just reinstalled, like, this week. Yeah.
Oh, we might be like Eskimos. We should look at each other's profiles.
Yeah. We'll leave that for after.
All right, yeah.
Or it could be at the end.
yeah. A little bonus clip.
Yeah.
But yeah, just shout out to everyone who's listening and supporting the channel.
Yo,
you know, just some dudes coming out the mud talking basketball.
Yeah, and we from the streets, homie, providing the best entertainment out there for the NOLA fans specifically. Continue.
Yes, sir. And that's about it. Just a couple dudes providing entertainment right now, free of charge. But you know, in the future, possibly hit up our Patreon.
Yeah, and
might pick the Spotify deal.
Yeah, when it happens, I don't give a fuck about your excuses. Okay, I don't want you guys being like, "Oh, Pelbros sold out." Nah, man. You motherfucker. Yeah, you right now listening. You better get your fucking mom's credit card and pay for that shit. You know, otherwise,
cancel your World of Warcraft subscription.
Yeah. Cancel. Don't even think about paying that bitch on OnlyFans, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Support your boys, support your troops, you know what I mean? Like, we out here, man. We fucking out here. You guys don't get it. We're actually on the fucking street right now.
We are literally on the street.
We're actually on the fucking street.
We're in front of a school.
Yeah, we're actually on the fucking street right now. You know, and this is not like the best area in Sydney or anything like that. This is, you know, if anything, I mean, it's not the worst, but it ain't great. It's nowhere near the greatest, you know? So, we're actually out here on the motherfucking streets providing you motherfuckers entertainment. But what I want to say is that, because he's been giving shout outs, but I want to obviously give a quick shout out. So Tomiqi, if you guys are enjoying already so far, but later on in the episode 2, this guy's shit, you want to hear more of him. He does a few streams here and there, live streaming on Twitch.
Yeah.
So it's at twitch.tv/Tomiqi. How do you spell the Tomiqi again?
Well, once in a blue moon, I stream on Twitch TV /Tomiqi.
So Tomiqi. That's my man right here. And yeah, obviously I'm Ryan DW. You already know that. So all right, because you're our first guest here, let's get, you know, let's warm you up a bit. You know, get a little introductory questions up in here. All right, I'm gonna think of just like 2 or 3 random questions. I'm just gonna like shoot it to you. Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay.
All right.
Oh crap.
Okay. All right. We'll start off with this one. It's quite random. Okay. So you gotta fuck, marry, kill out of these 3 options. We'll make it basketball related. Okay. Have you seen like Doc Rivers' daughter?
Callie?
But have you seen her?
Not in a while. Is this the one that married Seth Curry?
Yeah, that's why I was like, you know,
to make Paul George cheated on. Okay. Red Hot. Yeah. Okay.
But I don't know how she looks like, but I know there's that story. Yeah, you could quickly look it up.
So this is fuck Joe Rogan. We bring up.
Yo, Jamie, could you get that shit up?
Yeah. I'm like young Jamie, but with some testosterone. Yeah.
All right, so there's that. So there's that bitch, or Paul George's current wife, the stripper chick.
Oh yeah. She's my ethnicity.
Is she?
Yeah.
Okay. She babing. And then finally, who should we chuck in there? I mean, it's just like, okay, don't be thinking it's like disrespecting or anything like that, but I cannot think of anyone else right now apart from freaking Kobe Bryant's wife.
Okay, Vanessa.
Vanessa Bryant.
Shout out Vanessa. Rest in peace, Kobe.
Yeah. Like, it ain't no disrespect. It's just because
No,
I can't think of another female that is like, as well known between us.
Yeah. Vanessa is she's a popular name. Yeah.
So we got 3 up in here.
Okay.
Who you taking? Who you taking, my friend?
Okay.
You got to kill one. You got to fuck one. You got to marry one. What are we doing?
Okay, for obvious reasons, I can't kill Vanessa Bryant.
Oh, yeah. True.
Yeah, so that okay, so there's a 50-50.
Yo, the Vanessa Bryant one is actually like a very, like, why did I bring that up? Now it's actually like a ticking time bomb.
Yeah. Okay.
Continue.
Yeah, you really fucked me up with
Yeah,
this one.
my bad.
Okay, but hey, into the fire for the first guest. Yeah, true.
You gotta do what you gotta do. Initiation.
I think I've had this figured out already, though. I'm gonna kill Doc Rivers' daughter.
Easy.
I have to punish him for his coaching failures.
No
in
better
past
way
postseasons.
to do it than just kill the fucking his daughter.
Kill his daughter. And she's married to Seth Curry, who
yeah.
last season was an enemy of the Clippers in the bubble playoffs.
Yeah.
He, along with Jalen Brunson, completely went off against the Clippers.
So you got beef.
Bringing that series to 6 games when it could have been a sweep. They just played really good, right?
When he was in the Mavericks, right?
Yeah, he was on Mavericks. I don't know or care where he is now.
Philly, I believe, with Doc Rivers.
Oh yeah, good for yeah. Oh wow, yeah, look at that. Right? Yeah.
So they won't even miss her when she's gone.
That's true. I don't know what she's up to these days, but she's dead.
Yeah, she don't look too bad, but definitely.
No, she's an attractive lady.
Yeah, but like you definitely, you know what I mean. She gotta cop the bullet. All right, so we know who's dead, who we fucking, and who we marrying out of these 2. Okay,
so
this gets a bit more tougher now.
Yeah. So Paul George's wife, Daniela George, formerly Daniela Raic, she's my ethnicity.
Yeah.
So there's a little thing there that we can have. Yeah, we can speak to each other in another language.
However, on the other flip side of that is that she's obviously a stripper. So
she is a stripper. Yeah.
So she does have that host side of her.
She does have that host side, which
and then if I'm going, like,
a lot of people have a host side to them, male or female. You can be a stockbroker and be a complete hoe.
I was gonna say having if we're gonna continue to think out loud.
Yeah.
The other kind of side of that, I guess, with Vanessa Bryant is like, yo, bro, you're gonna be able to, like, take on such a fucking role to marry that shit, and you know what I mean, like, look after the kids, after all that shit.
You will be the guy who married the wife of Kobe Bryant after his passing.
Yeah. And so
I don't know if I'm prepared for that.
I
didn't know if I was prepared for this show. So how am I gonna marry Vanessa Bryant? But then at the same time, like,
there's probably a lot more money involved.
Yeah, but like, at the same time, the alternative to that, because there's only a 50-50 thing now, you have to hit and quit Vanessa Bryant.
Yeah, true.
So this is a catch-22, the
true.
Mother of all catch-22s.
Yeah.
So I think the biggest factor in this just might be how much I like Paul George's wife.
These pictures don't do her justice, bro. On her Instagram is even better.
Yeah, no, they now we'll look her up. We'll look her up via her maiden name. Okay, so this is good. Now, yeah, she's hot.
So that's an
attractive woman.
And that is it going to be a?
Okay, I have to visualize what your day-to-day life is with your wife, right?
Yeah. I mean, you guys can always get divorced and shit.
Would that be cheating? Like, would that be a cheat code for this?
I mean,
that'd be a way to kind of skirt out of the difference between the fucking
true. Okay, so then there is no
marrying
divorce.
is a lifelong sacrament.
That is true.
We're good Jewish boys.
That's true.
Right.
Go him.
Oy vey, this is a tough one. No, I have to do my duty, and it seems obvious. Marry Vanessa Bryant, who's already been cheated on and dishonored in her life.
Yeah.
And fuck Paul George's wife, who, is an exotic dancer.
Yeah.
And probably, I don't want to make any assumptions, but, is not as averse to promiscuity and so wouldn't be too hurt.
Too
by,
great for.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Or
So-
she wouldn't be the best marriage candidate. You're saying either.
Yeah.
But see, if anything, you've got it. I'm shook. I would have thought that you would have chosen her specifically because you guys are the same, race or ethnicity.
Yeah. No. Well, I mean,
That would have been a nice little marriage.
I think the guilt is an overwhelming factor here.
Oh right, if you're just
because
pump and dump.
I've been
Vanessa Bryant.
pumping up Vanessa Bryant.
So you just may as well just cop it for the rest of your life now.
like, and do I get her money?
Yeah, I think that should be included.
I mean, I'm
'cause,
already extremely wealthy,
Yeah, 'cause-
right? So I don't have to.
That's true. That's true. That's
but
how we
you,
met.
You can never have too much money,
That's
right?
true, that's
right.
true.
Shout out to Wall Street.
Yeah. Not even just the money, but just the connections.
Yeah. Networking, because I've always wanted to meet Reggie Jackson. I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
And I consider him among the greats, like Michael Jordan, Wilt Chamberlain,
Yeah.
and then Reggie Jackson. With the goggles on. I think with the goggles on, Reggie Jackson would wash Michael Jordan in a 1v1.
Okay.
But because I've been taught guilt, right?
Yeah.
White guilt, things like that.
Yeah.
So I would just feel so guilty to pumping up Vanessa Bryant, so I have to marry her. And she's beautiful.
Yeah. She's a lovely lady.
Yeah.
Latina. She'll probably cook some nice shit for you too.
Yeah, true. I do. Yeah, I do love that food. God, what did you do to me with this one?
Okay. So, just in sum, so I understand where our friend Tomiqi is coming from. What is it, Tomiqi or Tomiqi?
Tomiqi.
Tomiqi.
But
yeah.
Tomiqi also works because, just real quick, it comes from my mum's nickname for me, which is Tomiqi. And I just swapped out the K for a Q because I was a big Dragon Ball fan.
Yeah.
And I like the thing that they have is energy from Ki.
Okay.
Energy,
Yeah.
and that is derived from the Chinese version, which is Chi.
Okay.
So it's kind of cringe, but
Well,
I
there
actually
you go.
like it.
It's a nice little history lesson too. All right. So, just in sum though, his choices were. I'm just gonna say his.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm just not gonna touch it.
Don't worry about my pronouns.
Yeah. True. What's it called? Yeah, so he obviously it's a straight bullet to the head for fucking Doc Rivers' daughter.
Yeah, bye.
He is going to pump and dump Paul George's wife, my man. And finally he's going to, I guess, marry or take on the responsibility of Vanessa Bryant as a wife. So yeah, that's a nice little introductory question with my friend Tommy. That's the thing. Okay. Because I've asked you this question, I feel it's only right. You can give me one question. You can give me something like that. Whatever, because I was fully off the top of my head. You can give me a little kind of thinger, and then from that we'll progress to the episode.
Okay.
What you thinking, son? It should be somewhat basketball related, because that wasn't necessary.
Yeah.
But,
I've got one.
Go for it.
Have you heard of the train track dilemma? I'm not
Oh,
sure.
like I have
that's
to
what
save
it's called.
this motherfucker.
Yeah. So on one track you've got Drew Holiday,
Ooh,
and on the other track you've got
emotional investments. Yeah,
you've got Rajon Rondo and DeMarcus Cousins.
Shit, who am I gonna save?
Yeah.
Damn, homie. I think, bro, as much as I love Drew, you gotta go, bro. Because like Rondo and Boogie, like Boogie was my main man. It's still my main man, and Boogie's gone through so much. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He's had a tough career.
Yeah,
man.
but
had a tough go.
Yeah, but then again, obviously Drew has, in his personal life, gone through his own kind of adversities.
Yeah,
but
I thought this would be tougher because you were so close to Drew, and you were so heartbroken when he was traded.
Yeah, I was quite devastated about that. However, I've had to let go.
That's true.
And that's the thing. If it was still in the team, it would be a bit of a harder decision. No, it would be a bit of a harder decision, but it's still always going to be the same thing. As long as Boogie's on the other side, I'm saving that motherfucker. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So would it change if I put Rondo and Drew on the same track?
Nah, Boogie's still going to say Boogie.
Boogie's your ride or die. Yeah.
Boogie's my ride or die.
Okay.
Yeah. That's how it is. All right, cool. All right, so I guess from that, let's kind of, transition a bit into... So, yeah, we will talk about the Clippers finally, but I do want to discuss with you, let's talk about the league in general, mate.
Yeah, what's going on?
Yeah, what's going on and shit. Obviously, just very recently, we were just talking about it before, Donovan Mitchell got out, injury.
Yep.
Who knows how badly that is. Obviously, no one wants to ever see that shit, but it happens, part of the game. KD's injured now too.
Yeah, same leg. Same leg that was on his Achilles, I believe.
Oh, red hot. So he might not be back for the rest of the season then, eh?
Well, they'll definitely want him back for the playoffs because
Yeah.
this is their championship window, and it's tighter than a lot of other teams' championship windows.
Yeah. So, because I think we were actually just discussing this in terms of like, okay, sure, Utah's looking like they're all like, big dog and shit, but in the playoffs, I can't, especially versus this new little Clippers team, even, from your guys' first matchup versus Lakers this season, where obviously Batum was introduced and shit like that. I was already, and obviously Ibaka and shit. I was already straight away from the get-go. I was like, yo, y'all motherfuckers are on a different, kind of mindset right now. You guys, and I've only seen bits and pieces here and there throughout the season, but I can see Clippers, your chemistry has just like, it's, you guys are working it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now you guys got Rondo up in that bitch and fucking Boogie. Bro, that's game over. That's fucking game over, man. But, so having said that, coming from the East, maybe you're gonna get someone like, okay, like a Bucks or like a fucking the Miami Heat, but obviously the favorite now is Nets, right?
100%.
But obviously that, if KD's like not gonna be in there, that's a huge fucking factor, like James Harden's fucking #1 choker, and yeah, that's fucking enough said, to be honest. And then apart from that, in the West, like we were saying, Utah's killing it, yeah, sure, but and then the Suns, yeah, Lakers maybe, but I really feel as if anyone has Nuggets before
Jamal Murray.
Yeah, before Jamal Murray got injured. That's a huge blow. Although they've been kind of like, clicking with Aaron Gordon and shit. But having said all that, I still see like you guys are having the best kind of like momentum going into it. It's like the main thing, I guess the huge factor of it is that, can Paul George keep going? Can he actually just show up?
Well, it's a good question to
Yeah.
ask, right?
Yeah.
Because he's left those questions unanswered for some time.
Yeah.
So do you want to discuss specifically the Clippers, or you want to go through the teams?
I'd say we could just we can talk about the teams, but you can also talk about the Clippers too. It's really quite easy. What if
the way teams are trending. Let's talk about the top guys in the West. The Jazz and the Suns. There's so much uncertainty in these two teams, and that kind of speaks to the uncertainty of like the West in general this season, because it's like, look at the defending champs, the Lakers. Their top 2 stars have been out for some time.
Yeah.
Right? Anthony Davis is kind of working his way back in. I think LeBron may still be out indefinitely, but he's been teasing like a kind of like a double return between him and AD.
Oh, yeah. But
then like their continuity has been affected. Like gaining chemistry with their new acquisitions like Montrezl Harrell.
Yeah.
Marc Gasol looks like about 65 years old.
Yeah.
Andre Drummond, he looks like he's been re-energized, but is obviously still an uncertainty because he's one of the worst in the league around the rim. And then the top teams in the West, the Utah Jazz, there's so many questions about can they do this in the playoffs, which is like the same questions that there were about the Clippers last season, because like they flipped their team essentially from being like a perennial like a underdog kind of team, with like led by Lou Williams, Danilo Gallinari, a rookie like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, a mishmash of players. But the difference here is that obviously Utah have a lot of continuity. They've been healthy this season before Donovan Mitchell went down, which was like one of the biggest advantages they've had is like getting all those reps together. And that's led to things like the historic shooting percentages. Their really stout defense, like the consistent dominance of Rudy Gobert in like areas outside the stat lines. But even with Donovan Mitchell healthy, like the question is like, are these the same vibes that we get from the 2015 Atlanta Hawks? When basically the entire Hawks starting lineup at one point won a Player of the Month award, because it's like you can't pick too many guys out. The whole team is just playing out of their minds. With obviously like some guys at the top, Al Horford, Kyle Korver, Jeff Teague, like being those guys. But the question is like, to be blunt, like, is it fraudulent? Their dominance in the regular season is fraudulent when they come up against like a more star-studded sort of top-heavy team like the Clippers or the Lakers. And the game slows down. They don't get as many of those opportunities like that. Can they kind of do what they were doing in the regular season? The same question applies to the Suns, because Devin Booker has never made the playoffs, but he's their number one option. Chris Paul is still being Chris Paul. Like, you as a Pelicans fan, I as a Clippers fan, we can appreciate Chris Paul.
CP3,
He's a legend. Aside from like, he's got some of the more funny looking playoff moments in history. Like he's one extreme or the other. He's hitting a game winner over the Spurs in Game 7 in the most entertaining playoff series of all time, or he's turning the ball over by throwing it away half court against the Thunder because he thinks he's going to get fouled, but he doesn't get fouled, so it just looks stupid and ends up losing the next 2 games. So it's like with CP3, there's like some questions right there. He's obviously a great playoff performer, but it's like if he's your like number one playoff leader and all that stuff, all it takes is one slip from him and you lose the whole series.
Yeah.
So their questions arise about Devin Booker, things like their third best player is DeAndre Ayton. He's very young still. Their main contributor outside of those 3 is Mikal Bridges. Is he just a flash in the pan?
Mm-hmm.
So the West has a lot of questions about it.
Yeah.
And back to the Jazz, like with Donovan Mitchell down, he's their guy. Like he's their primetime guy. I think every team needs a primetime guy.
Yeah.
The LeBron, the Kawhi, the Giannis, the James Harden, etc.
Yeah.
Whether they're chokers or not, or like it's like who your guy is.
Yeah.
And with the Jazz, the guy it's like, oh, get me a game-winning bucket is Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
With him out, they're kind of screwed when it comes to those tight games.
Yeah.
So it's like as a neutral, you just gotta hope for the best when it comes to the health of their top
because
guy.
I guess with that it does depend. Because if Donovan Mitchell's injury isn't too bad and he is able to return for the playoffs, then it can kind of like balance it out a bit. But obviously, if he's not coming back for the rest of the season, that's fucking game. You know, like what the fuck you guys got? Oh my god. Like, no disrespect, Jordan Clarkson's been killing it, right? But
6th man of the year.
But you know what I mean? Like, man, I got Kawhi, I got PG, I got Rondo, I got Boogie, I got what you need. So I got Luke Kennard, I got Reggie Jackson, your boy, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, there's a lot. Actually, something was popping up to my head. I don't think I've asked you this because you were really big on Montrezl Harrell back in the day when he was the Clippers. How's your feelings towards this motherfucker now? Y'all got beef? Where you at?
Well, among the he doesn't want to smoke with me. I promise you that.
Yo,
Sambo master. Come on, bro. I've got like 4 inches on him. Pause. But I think there's love and hate because I don't really know what went down between him and the Clippers in terms of him even getting an offer.
Yeah.
What he implied essentially on an interview after he was confirmed to sign with the Lakers was that he didn't really get too much of a word from the Clippers.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because I would have thought that the Clippers would want to keep him and just kind of upgrade around the areas that left him stranded like a deer in headlights, which was like having to be out there against like bigger guys like Jokic, where he really has no chance. I thought that they could do something like bring on an Ibaka without kind of giving up Montrezl Harrell.
Especially to the Lakers.
Yeah. But they must have looked at the main factors which lost them that series. And those were Doc Rivers putting Montrezl Harrell out there, stranded against Jokic while he picked apart. Like he just looked over Montrezl Harrell, who he had like 7 inches over.
Yeah.
And just destroyed the Clippers with passing to cutters and all of that stuff. And Montrezl Harrell, like, he was kind of like he was kind of a victim because it's like Doc trotted him out there because he loved Montrezl Harrell so much inexplicably, despite his defensive failures.
Yeah.
So the fact that he went to the Lakers though specifically, that kind of irked me a little bit.
Yeah.
I think that he owed the Clippers some stuff because when he was on Houston, what was he getting, like 4 minutes a game? He was doing nothing in Houston. When he came to the Clippers and he was like Blake's backup, he was getting a few opportunities here and there, and then they like upped his role. And they kind of like the team kind of made him.
Yeah.
Like that was a perfect team for a kind of like a garbage man, which is kind of what he is.
Yeah.
He's a good isolation scorer as well.
Yeah.
But he's like that kind of guy, gets those offensive rebounds, hustles for the loose ball, Dennis Rodman style.
Yeah.
He called himself the new Dennis Rodman. That was a perfect team for him to come to the limelight in. So going to another team when you don't get an offer from the Clippers, it's like that's what you have to do to continue your career. But going to the Lakers specifically, essentially across the hall, direct rivals, both championship contenders. They just won the championship. It's kind of iffy. I wouldn't call him a snake.
Yeah.
A lot of the Clipper fans would call him a snake, and like I can see where they're coming from.
Yeah. Man's gonna do what his man's gonna do. But
I'm not a fan anymore. I'm not a fan because I'm a fan of guys who play for my team.
Okay.
I'm a fan of other players too, but it's like first and foremost, I'm a Clippers fan.
Yeah.
And I can't be a fan of anyone on the Lakers.
Yeah.
Like, you can understand even Rondo last season.
Yeah.
I couldn't be a fan of him because he was on the Lakers.
That's fair enough.
That's where loyalty resides.
Yeah.
I appreciated how he fucking destroyed teams in the playoffs at some points.
As we've been saying from day one.
As he's been known to do when he turns it on. When he wants to turn it on. Like, he didn't turn it on when he was in Dallas. I don't know what went down between him and Rick Carlisle. But anyways, yeah. Back to Montrezl Harrell. I would say that, like, I'm neutral towards him.
Yeah.
Maybe slightly below neutral. Like, I want Zubats to fucking yam on him if they play the Lakers.
That's obviously understandable, yeah. All right, so then, before we full go like a proper Clippers thing, Clippers discussion, I do want to ask you then. So if obviously, I'm assuming that because I'm on the same boat. If you're also on the same boat, that Clippers are my favorites to take it this season, like win the chip.
I'm so cautious about saying that every season, and that comes with the territory of being a Clippers fan.
Yeah, that's fair enough. That's like us with trying to get to the playoffs.
Yeah. But no, I'm hopeful about your team as well, because you guys have a guy who's going to be an all-timer.
Yeah. So if not this season, then whatever. But continue.
I'm so cautious about calling the Clippers favorites at any point because I don't know if you want to call it a curse. I think it's a way to oversimplify the millions of things that go into a season, but there's always something that messes with the Clippers.
Yeah.
A lot of times it's just the Clippers themselves mess with the Clippers. But like on paper and with the way teams are trending, some teams upward, some teams downward, the way the Clippers are trending at the right time, it's like you kind of still have to consider them the favorites, like outside the Nets.
Yeah.
Like it's so funny that like maybe a week and a half ago, the Clippers would be like third, maybe fourth, because it's like the Nuggets have more continuity than the Clippers still, right? This is before Jamal Murray goes down. They've beaten the Clippers.
Yeah.
Being down 3-1 after coming down 3-1 again in like a freak occurrence. I know the bubble was like a Mickey Mouse kind of universe.
Yeah.
But it's like it's there, it's in history. It's written in history. And that would come back to like the Clippers would be thinking about that if they got to a series. So I would honestly like put the Nuggets right there with the Clippers. Before Kevin Durant goes down, the Nets have Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden. Yeah. I know that you're like you're iffy on James Harden because he's
always choking in the playoffs.
Always choking in the playoffs, pretty much.
I was going for this motherfuckers when they're versing Warriors and they missed 27 consecutive
That
threes.
was awful.
If anything, that's why I have love for CP3 because CP3 was like the best man in that series, to be honest.
Yeah. And like when it's tough to like for one game to like tarnish your reputation that hard, but it's like if someone does that, you have the right to call them a choker. Like people have the right to call Clippers the chokers. Yeah. Because they are.
Yeah.
I'll be the first to admit that shit.
Yeah.
And then the 76ers, I would actually put them at... Now, I know that Doc Rivers is like... He's been known to lose teams series that they really should win through his faults. But I'm a big believer in Joel Embiid because I'm a big believer in like dominant big men. Who can also like shoot the three, especially in today's NBA when shooting the three is so important. Because a lot of teams play small, and a guy like Embiid, a guy like Jokic, they can bully teams that play small. They can punish them.
Yeah.
So I would actually put the Sixers up there too.
Yeah, I do like I would love to see Sixers in the what do you call it, Eastern Conference Finals at least.
Yeah, it would be prime time. It would be entertainment. But like right now, at this current moment, at this current juncture, especially after seeing how hard the exhausted Clippers fought without Ben Simmons' daddy, Kawhi Leonard, playing, and to make it such a close game, I would put the Clippers over the Sixers in a series. Therefore, I would have to call the Clippers on paper, currently, as of this day, as of this moment, the favorites to win the championship for me.
Okay. All right. That's what I like to hear. So we can both kind of agree on that then. But I wanted to say, like, if it wasn't, who would you see coming out of the West that, like you wouldn't be surprised if they did? Would you just say Lakers or would you say someone else?
I would say a healthy Lakers squad.
Yeah.
Because, like, I'm not a huge fan of LeBron James, but you can't not appreciate the things that, like, he does. Like, it's almost a given when he gets to the playoffs that he's going to get his team out of the conference finals.
Yeah.
Because he's done it, like, a lot.
Yeah.
So, if it's not the Clippers... And because I think if the healthy Clippers go up against the healthy Lakers, the Clippers are almost designed to beat the Lakers.
Yeah.
So I see the Clippers like taking them out in 6.
Yeah.
I would maybe say 5, honestly.
Oi.
And that's like with my appreciation for LeBron James and your boy Anthony Davis.
Shit, son. Now you're gonna catch a break, bro. We weren't joking about the choppers. If you guys can probably hear that.
Yeah. Hold on, I gotta lay low, bro.
Yeah. We out here in the streets, son. We ain't fooling around when we say when we say these things. But as you were saying,
is it gone? All right.
Yeah,
I'm not going back, bro. I'm not going back.
Yeah. We just got out.
Yeah. So a healthy Lakers. Is this with all teams healthy?
I mean, like maybe
at this juncture.
Yeah. At this kind of situation.
At this juncture.
But
the Mavericks are not doing it. The Blazers are not doing it. They've got the worst defense in the league. I would say, like, just due to availability, I think that would leave the Suns, because I think it would give someone like Devin Booker a lot of confidence seeing like all these other star players go down.
Yeah.
And I just like, he's not proven because he hasn't made it to the playoffs yet, but he's the kind of guy that strikes me as just like, he makes the playoffs for the first time, he's just going to come out guns blazing. The way Luka Doncic did against the Clippers in the first round last year, hitting those game winners, getting those 40-point triple doubles, etc. I can see him doing that.
Man's gonna ball out.
Yeah, I can see him doing that. Yeah.
Okay, so then, what would you like to see as a, I guess, fantasy finals then? Clippers there versus who's coming out of the East? Who would you like? And obviously, hopefully, you guys are winning. But who would you like to see? What would be the most entertaining?
The most entertaining, well, due to star power, it would have to be the Nets.
Mm-hmm.
As a Clippers fan, you want to see the Clippers get revenge against Doc Rivers and the Sixers.
Yeah.
But in terms of like, because the NBA is driven by star power.
Yeah.
And the more stars a matchup has, the more entertaining it's typically going to be.
Yeah.
Because like hero ball, ISO ball, no disrespect to teams like the Spurs.
Yeah.
But watching like two mega talented guys go at it against each other, there's not that many things more entertaining in basketball when they're just like trading crazy shots.
That is a point.
You've got like 2-3 guys on one team and then 2-3 guys on the other team. So it's like almost becomes like a quasi all-star game.
Yeah.
Right? Assuming KD's healthy. That's just star players just fucking everywhere.
Yeah.
So it'd be hard to argue against the Clippers
and Nets.
Yeah.
Like,
if you're a Clippers fan, if you're a Lakers fan, it's Lakers Nets.
I was gonna say, I mean, as much as I wouldn't want the Nets in the finals, I would love to see them lose in the finals, just for that satisfaction of like, I think I said this in the last episode, but I'm gonna go on a little tangent again in terms of like what the I was gonna say KFC, KD. That's the only thing on my mind. Eh?
Remember the camp?
Oh yeah. Sorry. It's not kosher. I can't talk about it.
Yeah.
No. But KD. Bro, what's up with this man? Right, like, goes to Golden State Warriors in probably the biggest bitch move of all NBA history, and then is trying to go to like, what do you call it? Brooklyn Nets to kind of maybe prove himself or whatever bullshit, right? Like, the man, obviously doing it up with Kyrie Irving, but
who he's close friends with.
Yeah, but at least brought balance to the league, But then what's this motherfucker doing? He's still on that same bitch cunt shit. You know what I mean? Just getting up more. He's just stacking that team up. I mean, obviously LaMarcus Aldridge is retired now.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, but they've got Blake Griffin. Still, it's just like a stacked team. So I'm just like,
it constitutes a super team.
Yeah, like he's still doing the same bitch move. So I'm just like, just for that alone, it's just like, bro, let there be some kind of like karma justice here, you know what I mean? And if it could be in the biggest stage in the finals, that'd be great. I'd love to see that. I'd love to see these, like, a healthy Nets team get beat by a healthy fucking Clippers team. That'd be great.
Yeah. Well, like seeing a team go all in, like really all in, just put all their chips on the table and go down spectacularly.
Yeah.
There's like a Schadenfreude kind of satisfaction that comes with that.
Yeah.
And I can completely understand like neutrals kind of applauding when the Clippers went out in an embarrassing fashion in the playoffs, because a lot of their players were like speaking really confidently, and like as you do as an NBA player, you have to be confident about yourself to the point of being cocky. But it's like, Schadenfreude is Schadenfreude, and people always are gonna like be happy about someone else's downfall. But like when a team like just invests so much into making pretty much a super team, especially as after you said KD kind of brought balance to the league when he went to the Nets, even with Kyrie, because the shift went from super teams, like one or two super teams, two super teams going against each other from like one conference each, to dynamic duos.
Yeah.
Right. Like Luka, KP, Kawhi, PG, LeBron, AD, Kyrie, KD. Damn, I've got bars.
Zion BI, technically.
Right.
Yeah, continue that, yeah. But now, obviously, it's no longer like that.
It is no longer like that.
Decided to make up another super team.
It's especially bad because this is now the only, like, on paper super team in the league. And it all comes back to bite him in things like social media as well, because he was tweeting a decade ago, actually, about it's like, let's go back to competitive, going against these super teams. Why does everyone want to join these players? Like, to play devil's advocate for him, that was a decade ago.
Yeah.
He was very young. The times change. But guys with influence like KD and LeBron, they're the ones who change the times by the decisions that they make, because like they're the top dogs of the league. So as much as I love Kevin Durant's personality, he's the king of Twitter. When people troll him, he trolls back, all that stuff. Like, you can't escape the validity of the criticism that he gets for pulling bitch moves. Because now he set a precedent for pulling bitch moves.
Yeah, and yet again he's done it again too. But apart from that, I guess obviously there's Nets. But apart from that, obviously I got to give a huge shout out to Bucks. Milwaukee Bucks, just because we got Drew Holiday. It'd be amazing if somehow they made it to the finals. I'd love to see it. I don't fucking know if it's gonna happen, to be honest.
For them to do that, you have to be a believer in Giannis. Are you a believer in Giannis? If you're not a believer of Harden, can you be a believer in someone like Giannis?
That's true. I'm not necessarily a believer in Giannis, but I'm a believer of fucking what's his face, Drew Holiday.
Absolutely.
So I feel as if that kind of could potentially carry us out there.
Okay. Do you think so? Drew Holiday, you reckon is well? You would obviously say yes, but like from an objective standpoint, you reckon he's good enough to cover the playoff flaws of a player like Giannis being your top guy and take them over that?
So my kind of logic with that is a bit like, I saw, obviously they're not the exact same player, but I saw what Drew Holiday has done with AD here. But if anything, Giannis is the actual 2 times MVP version of AD. You know what I mean? That's how I kind of see it in terms of like what he's done with AD. Now you've got you're putting the similar, not similar, but with another guy who's even better than this guy, arguably. That's like my logic in terms of like
Drew is comfortable in this kind of scenario.
Yeah. He's already done this shit before, and if anything, he's with a better backup, so he can actually do more damage.
Shout out to Chris Middleton.
Yeah. Apart from that, though, but not shout out to Eric Bledsoe, fucking trash. But apart from that, though, this, I guess, this is also what you were saying before in terms of like, I wouldn't mind having Sixers there too, just because they had been balling out. If anything, obviously I'm not like a fucking expert or anything, but before his injury, I wouldn't have minded to see Embiid get MVP, to be honest. What's your 2 cents on that? MVP race.
Well, the MVP race, I think, goes to Jokic.
Just because everyone's injured and shit, eh?
Because everyone's injured.
Yeah.
But, with everyone injured, it goes to him by a country mile. Even with everyone healthy, I think
he
that
probably still takes it.
He still takes it because the Nuggets were so out of whack, like outside of his influence towards the start of the season when they were when they were barely breaking 500. Like, they might have imploded if it wasn't for his consistency. Because like when a team goes through that kind of adversity, like in the early parts of a season where they just start losing a whole bunch, it's like the season can flip one way or the other. And I think the fact that it flipped positively for the Nuggets is 90% because of Jokic and 10% because of the Aaron Gordon trade that gave them some more defensive prowess, where they lost that in Jeremy Grant and Torrey Craig. So I think the MVP goes to Jokic. If Embiid was fully healthy and was like playing basically every game for the season, because the MVP is more so about narrative than about like merit as a player, statistically and all that stuff. I think that the narrative was more heavily favoring Embiid.
Yeah, if anything, that's what I was going for, the narrative, like with Embiid. First seed in the East too.
Yeah. So I think like if I was a betting man, I would put it on Embiid, assuming everyone healthy. Even with like the buzz that LeBron was getting.
Yeah.
Because it's like the media was trying to make like a thing where LeBron was only going through these years of not getting MVP because people had LeBron fatigue.
Yeah.
Because he was winning the MVP so much. The same way that Giannis, like I think even if he was having like a true MVP level season, people still wouldn't be really on his side because they would have Giannis fatigue because he's two-time now. So I think that, I honestly think that it would be Embiid, even though I think that Jokic would deserve it more.
Yeah.
Because his conference is tougher.
Yeah, it's true.
There's a lot of factors that like play into like if the NBA were a meritocracy.
Yeah.
Which it obviously isn't. It's narrative driven. It's media driven. I would go with Jokic. So it just depends on like which kind of how much weight you put into certain things.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, so I guess before we wrap things up, we were talking about it before, but I mean we'll expand on it a bit more. Obviously, biggest change has been that you guys got Rondo and Boogie. Bro, that's like, do you not like fuck with that as much as I fuck with that, or what?
I don't think I can fuck with it as much as you fuck with it because you fuck with it so much.
but you've got them on your team now. That's the thing, and you're gonna have them for the playoffs, man. That's fucking tight.
It is super tight,
especially Rondo. Far out.
Yeah, well, it's mainly on the Rondo side of things because Boogie's.
Does Boogie still get that many minutes nowadays, or what?
They played against the Timberwolves today, the Clippers, and they were up by 38 at one point.
So he must have got some minutes, right?
I think he got about 14 minutes.
Yeah.
Which honestly, by his standards these days, because he's like so injury prone and all that stuff, like he gets those minutes by virtue of like having good intangibles.
Yeah.
Right. Like he still tries his hardest. Yeah. Right. Tries his heart out. It's hard for him. He's got no lift these days, which is okay. Because he's had a lot of injuries. He's gotten older, but he's got good touch with his hands.
Yeah.
So that kind of mitigates the fact that he has no lift.
Yeah.
By a little bit. On the Rondo side of things, he looked okay today, but the fact that they're 7-1, maybe 8-1 now when he plays. Is ridiculous. I know that a lot of that is because Paul George has been on this crazy streak. Yeah. But the team looks really like much better with Rondo. Yeah. Yeah. And even when he's not on the floor. Yeah. Because I think that he's taken on the role of a player's coach as well. Yeah, yeah. You see him talking because they release like documentaries now. The Clippers, they've got a little mini series called In Pursuit, where they show like kind of the haps, the ins and outs of what's going on like training camps and stuff. Yeah. And he's talking to the coaches, he's talking to the young guys like Terrence Mann. He's absorbing the information from the team and like how they operate and then like spewing back out his crazy high basketball IQ. So like as an idealist, when it comes to Rondo, things are going as swimmingly as you would expect. Yeah. Even on the side of things like his 3-point shooting, which is like part of the reason that I was can I be completely honest? When he was traded, initially I was sad about the trade. Yeah, yeah. You know why? What? Because I was a big fan of Lou Williams.
Lou was your boy.
Yeah. Side note, at least they sent Lou Williams home to ATL. Yeah. So, more lemon pepper for him. But I was iffy about Rondo because, number one, he's old. Number two, he's not known to be a 3-point shooter. Yeah. And this Clippers team, like, their bread and butter almost is their 3-point shooting because they're on pace to have the best 3-point shooting season of all time of any team. Shit. More than the Prime Warriors, who would set the record before that in terms of percentages. And also the fact that like the Clippers were trying to get some reps in during the regular season, establish some consistency, and then they make a change like that and add in Rondo, who's known to be a playoff guy, not necessarily a regular season guy. But man, like anything that, and I know it's a kind of smallish sample size. Yeah. But like thus far, any doubts that I had, he just completely shat on them. Yeah. And I'll eat cow shit. Like I'll put my foot in my mouth. I'm really happy that he's like proven all my doubts wrong. Like it takes me a while to warm to a player that joins the Clippers, but when he was like knocking down 3-pointers in CP3's face against the Suns about a week and a half ago. Yeah. I was like, I like Rondo on my team. This dude's a gangster. Yeah, he was knocking down threes in his face and like talking shit to him for leaving him open, daring him to shoot. I'm like, this is gonna be a good season.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know, from my experience with Rondo on the 3, like, I guess sometimes he's not great, but when he's just in his fucking zone,
Yeah.
This man's just chucking threes. I guess because of CP3, he's obviously going to make it rain.
That's another thing that I like about Rondo is like when he plays against dudes that he has like personals with.
Yeah.
And thank God for the Clippers because a Western Conference contender like the Suns have CP3 who has beef with.
Yeah.
And an Eastern Conference contender have Doc Rivers who he has beef with.
Yeah.
They have mutual beef. Like all the stars align. It could not be more perfect.
Yeah. So I get and that's the thing. Like you're talking up like Rondo, but that's the thing, mate. We haven't even seen him in the playoff mode yet. So
Absolutely,
the best part of Rondo is yet to come, mate. But yeah, I guess any closing notes before we wrap this biatch up.
So some general comments on the NBA this season.
Yeah.
I'm really sad that all these injuries and shits are happening. But I think I've seen a few players attributing it to the fact that it's like a shortened season.
Yeah.
It's kind of that. It might also just like be because the NBA schedules, even if it were a longer season, the NBA kind of schedules games really shittily.
Mm-hmm.
Like they'll put a team's games, they'll make them play like 30% of their games in the first half of the season and then 70% of their games after the All-Star break.
Yeah.
And then do like vice versa for other teams.
Yeah.
And there's like a lot of shit that goes into that.
So let's talk about more like the load, I guess, like the weekly load.
Yeah. I think that the schedule makers probably like got to get decked in the jaw sometimes because
protect these stars.
Yeah. When you have a lot of players complaining about that, you probably need to do something about that. And it might play a part in all of the injuries because a lot of these injuries are wear and tear injuries because these are playing a lot of games in a compressed amount of time. So I don't know. Fuck Adam Silver.
But probably on the other side,
yeah,
is what's going to get us the most ratings,
Absolutely.
What's going to get us the most money, and that comes back to our good goy, right?
Yeah.
So we can't really talk too much shit.
You need your shekels as a business owner.
Yeah.
So they wanted to pack as many games as they could. They managed to only reduce the amount of games by the number of games by 10.
Yeah.
For such like they had a very small break between the bubble and the start of this season. So from a business perspective, I commend them from that. From a moral perspective, I guess that doesn't matter at all.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Who cares?
Morals? What the fuck?
Yeah. All right. I guess with that, we shall wrap this episode up. So yeah, thank you again. Our first official Pelbros guest.
Thank you
Mr.
so much.
Tomiqi. Yeah. So if you guys like this shit, obviously twitch.tv/Tomi. Tomiqi.
That's the one.
Yeah. So he sometimes streams, sometimes doesn't. Whatever. But if you like it, he's there. Hit him up. And obviously with us, Pelbros, you already know where it is, baby. Yeah, but I mean, last thing, I'll give you like a proper final notes. How was your experience being, on the Pelbros podcast, man, as the first official guest too?
Yeah,
how you feel?
It was life changing.
Life-changing.
After I left the camp, in the weeks following that, I felt my virginity grow back.
Hey.
But this was akin to popping my cherry once again.
Man, that's what I like to hear.
I got the cherry stem under the seat right here.
Shit, we're gonna have to clean that up. But if anything, I'm definitely down to get some McFlurries. It's $2 now. How sick is that?
That's pretty good.
Yeah. So yeah.
I need some nuggets.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna get the fuck out of here. We'll leave you pussies alone. See ya. Peace.